tragic story here. We have learned new information that the 33-year-old social media model was strangled to death.
That was our baby, and as many people in Houston knew her and loved her, she was as sweet with them as she is
with us. She took care of people. She's just a sweetheart, and my baby's gone from a tragic event that didn't have to happen, and it's just dangerous.
Mark, Sunday afternoon, you went to your daughter's apartment, and I mean, as a father, you don't ever prepare yourself for what you found. How are you dealing?
I mean, your first insight when I went into my daughter's apartment and saw her there, anger took over. Well, I'm sorry. Sadness took over real quick. My girlfriend, bless her little heart, at the time ran upstairs, saw the guy still in there. Anger took over. And she's crying hysterically. I'm mad as can be, especially because the guy's still up there. My girlfriend later on asked me, why didn't you cry at first? And I said, I didn't cry because I was so mad and upset that this guy, even though he was committing suicide at the time, was in my daughter's house. My daughter's dead on the floor. And I don't know what he did. You know, I just knew that it was somebody that my daughter doesn't associate with, and not because of the person he was or is my daughter. We keep her private. Nobody, not even her real friends, really knew her name. I've moved my daughter 3 times just because of my insecurities and the freeze, of course, but she doesn't have friends by her house. I know my daughter, and when I got to my daughter's house, and it was locked up, and she's not answering my phone, which is not like her, I knew something was up, so I didn't hesitate to kick the door down. And what I saw, I wouldn't want any parent to go through. That's the first thing. The second thing is, everything started popping up without reaching out to the parents, without reaching out for information. And it went from false accusations of HIV or COVID to other things, and nobody even reached out to talk to us. Janae was very loved, and she's probably loved more than we would have thought of. I knew my daughter had a large following, and I knew she had some friends that, you know, in not high places, but friends that were influential. I didn't know all the love that she had, and hopefully we're able to, you know, give her a memorial or do something for her in a way that everybody is happy with, and everybody will be able to have closure.
As to what led up to the horrific murder of 33-year-old Janae Gagnier, known as Miss Mercedes Morr on social media, with a following of 2.6 million.
We want to find out why her, why him.
The body of the woman was discovered Sunday afternoon inside her apartment at the Cortland Sugarland complex. According to the medical examiner, she died of strangulation and traumatic concussion in what police are investigating as a murder-suicide. A second body also found. Richmond police say it belongs to this man, 34-year-old Kevin Accordo, who died by suicide caused by multiple sharp force trauma.
We found her in her apartment doing a welfare check. People haven't heard from her in a couple days.
It was the woman's family that called police asking for a welfare check on Sunday. Gagnier's father was with officers when they made the gruesome discovery.
People were asking about the relationship between her and the suspect. And at this time, we are doing some investigating on social media to determine if there is an exact cause.
And investigators would not share with us whether or not anything was taken from inside of this woman's apartment. And they also tell us that the last known address for the suspect in this case is out of Florida.
What makes this case so complex is social media. Janae Gagnier's family says she didn't know the man who killed her. Now police are poring over her millions of followers to try to find him.
Did you recover any weapons, any guns, any knives? Did you recover anything from the crime scene?
I don't want to release what we have or have not recovered. I will tell you there was no shooting involved.
Motive is still the biggest mystery in the murder of Instagram model Miss Mercedes Morr. The 33-year-old was found strangled to death in her Richmond apartment Sunday. The man identified as the suspect, 34-year-old Kevin Accordo from Florida, died by suicide.
What about his car? Do you know how he got here from Florida? Did you recover a car?
That is information. That is information that is part of the case that I won't release. It has to do with tracking him from how he got to Texas.
Another question police are still trying to answer: how did he get in? There were no signs of forced entry, and it's a gated complex. Somehow, though, he found a way in.
You have to kind of understand those apartments. You can enter 3 different ways: through the garage, through the back door, through the front door. So it makes it difficult to understand.
But police in the small town of Richmond vowing to get answers in what's been the highest profile murder case they've seen in years.
There will be closure for the family. Before this case ends, there will be closure.
I got the call that a friend hadn't heard from her, and Mark hadn't heard. And, okay, what's going on? So that's when I talked to Mark. And
have you been able to stop thinking about what she may have went through?
No, that's horrific. Being strangled to death is a horrible way to die. And my baby's gone. And it was horrible to even think about it.
I try not to think about it. My first night, we got here at 3 in the morning, me and some of my good friends. I mean, I got good friends for 30 years. Went to the place because I kept the door, and so we had to, after the police left, we had to secure the door and stuff. So we went in, just grabbed a couple of things, grabbed some paperwork and stuff, secured the door. I mean, it was just disgusting inside. And I prepared everybody because I had been inside. When we left, I got home that night. If I slept an hour, that might have been it, because when the detective told me that she had been strangled, that's all I can think in my mind is I did not want my daughter to go out in any kind of pain or suffering or any kind of traumatic anything. And I would have been happy with the thought in my mind that he pushed her or she fell down the stairs, because it's quick. And I know that's a bad thought, but I did not want my daughter to be in any kind of struggle, fight, or pain. So I don't know how the guy got into the place, because it was locked up tightly, and my daughter does not open the door for anybody. As short as she is, she still gets up to that peephole and would look just through and make sure it was me. I mean, I had to call my daughter, Janae, let me in. Janae, let me in. So I don't know how he found her, and I don't know how all this happened. That's the only part that I'm waiting on. I know what happened. I know my daughter's dead, and all this other stuff going on social media about she was shot and robbed and all the other stuff. You should be ashamed of yourselves for letting out false information just to get the story and not coming to us and or waiting for the real story.
Right. Let us grieve. We needed to grieve initially. Her dad found her. Can you imagine what that's like? So for him to have to see that and us process it, he and I to be able to talk about, what are the next steps, we would have appreciated at least that respect. But we didn't get that. And so, again, the social media discussions and all the ins and outs of that was hurtful. And we're here to set the record straight. If you didn't know this guy, he was a random person, and he killed her, and he killed himself. And this is where we are at this point right now. And we want to celebrate her life. We will do that. So that's what we're here to do.